Hey, I got a confession. Been losing all momentum. Just because it's easy, but that don't make it better. I wanna dig my hands deep down in the dirt. Take a walk along the street if I'm feeling dessert. All of this convenience just doesn't work for me. I wanna play with fire, let me get hurt. Can we take it back to 95? Before we had this drama in our lives, just staring at the screen every day and night. I miss the rush of living in real life. Go get your DeLorean. Oh, I miss the summers with you and never swipe left or right. Snuck in your window, no friend request, no, just spent the night. I had to walk right up to your locker and risk you saying, boy, just don't bother. I know this all just makes me sound ancient, but sons and daughters, that shit was amazing. Can we take it back to 95? Before we had this drama in our lives, just staring at the screen every day and night. I miss the rush of living in real life. Go get your DeLorean. Go get your DeLorean. Yo, what you got in that bag? Candy, cigarettes, and a Playboy mag. Many used to have to work for that. Wait for me, gotta dial up. Can't call my landline cause it's all tied up. Just bike over then. Oh, oh, oh. Can we take it back to 95? Before we had this drama in our lives, just staring at the screen every day and night. I
so much for showing up for each other. We have over 7,400 people from 144 countries around the world creating momentum in their lives because of Inner Circle. And if this is your first time, I'm honored to welcome you here. Welcome. This community is your all-access pass to master the systems and strategies in every area of your life, relationships, health, finances, anything you can think of. And together in this community, we walk with each other as we turn our biggest dreams into reality, as we reinvigorate our relationships and foster deeper connections with the people who matter most to us. We conquer our inner critics and self-doubt and the things that hold us back. And we future-proof our finances and experience more abundance than we ever imagined. And most importantly, we get to do this together in a global community. Resonate in the chat box if you've ever been to a Tony Robbins event, had your heart blown wide open by the man himself, set new standards for your life, but then you panicked a little because you knew you were going back to your old life, old patterns, and the Costco-sized bag of Oreos in your pantry, and you wondered, how the heck am I going to hold myself to these standards? I see the word resonate coming up. Me too. And that's what makes this community so unique. As a peer group, we get to do this work together. We get to positively influence each other and celebrate each other's successes. We're going to be joined by Tony Robbins in just a moment. Today is all about the power of alignment. Type alignment in the chat if you've noticed that when you align with your truest and deepest intent, progress, it becomes effortless and immediate. Yes, yes. Today, Tony is going to walk us through a process to connect and align that part of ourselves, something he calls positive intent. You can go ahead and type that in the chat box, positive intent. And whether you're using the chat to capture the teachings that resonate most with you, or whether you're taking notes in your journal like crazy, let's promise each other that we're going to connect in Tony's Arena app later today and share what impacted us the most so that we can keep the momentum going. Do you pinky swear? You see? Yes, friends, yes. Well, it looks to me like you are ready. So let's crank up our energy and welcome to the stage, Tony Robbins. Box what positive intent you have in your life right now, and as soon as we get that audio fixed, we're going to come back and Tony Robbins will take the stage. So go ahead and share in the chat box with each other. Tell us about a time in your life you had positive intent towards something, and we'll be right back. Great job in the chat, YouTube. Thanks for keeping us rolling, YouTube. We love you and we see you there. We want to make sure nobody misses a moment. So thank you, YouTube, for waiting for everybody on Zoom. We are working on it. Josie V on YouTube says, I have to say my vibration plate is changing my health and life. Where there's a will, there's a way. And Nurin says, finished his training, opening his business, getting his health back, and he has positive intent to find his soulmate. Great job, everyone. Great job. Welcome. If you are just joining us, we just have a couple of audio issues. We will be with you very soon. Betsy on YouTube says, I've been struggling with positive intent recently. So Betsy, you are in absolutely the right place. Tony is going to teach you everything that you need to know today. So make sure you have a pen ready and you're ready to take notes like crazy. Maria on YouTube says she's working through positive intent to launch her online business. That's great. Lorraine says, I am a finisher. I have positive intentions to create a thriving coaching biz after healing from serious illness. We're so glad you're better, Lorraine. Deborah says, I noticed some patterns around my energy and what I tell myself. Inner Circle was a remarkable find for me. We're so glad you're here, Deborah. Thank you so much for your patience with our technological issues. Tony Robbins is so excited to be with you in just a moment. You can see your chats though, so go ahead and she can by learning new skills. That's pretty amazing. Aijane went to her first ever boxing class 2 days ago. Great job, Aijane. Great job. Alexandra says she's going to lose the extra pounds she's gained over the last 3 years in order to have more energy. I'm so glad you're in the community. Jennifer Williams, it's her first day in Inner Circle. Thank you so much for being here, Jennifer. We're so happy to see you. Christina says by the end of this year, she's going to be 50 years old and more fit, thriving, and dancing through life as ever before. Robert on YouTube says, full life overhaul for this man. Self-improvement, family, love, life, business, and happiness. That's beautiful, Robert. Candace is fully stepping into her purpose. Recently learned self-worth. That's something she creates for herself now. This allowed her the freedom to express her true identity. Amber says she's ready to get unstuck from this little pause she's been experiencing. She's so grateful for Inner Circle to help boost her empowerment to take massive action that she's ready to jump into. Well, friends, you deserve the very best today because you have been so incredibly patient. And what's so cool about that is it just shows what a loving, supportive community we are because we didn't want to leave anybody behind. So it is time to crank up the energy and welcome to the stage, Tony Robbins!
Welcome, everybody. Listen, I'm sorry for the problems with Zoom. I don't think we've ever had those before. Aaron, you did an amazing job. People were trying to read your lips. I guess some people were able to hear you, not others. Anyway, can everybody hear me now? Make some noise. Show me if you can hear me. Awesome. Super. Well, thank you for joining us. I love this session. I love Inner Circle. You know, I built this so no one's left behind. You know, sometimes obviously the most ideal thing is you do something day and night and day, like learning a language, right? You get total immersion if I drop you in Italy and in 90 days, if you didn't have a teacher, you're gonna be speaking Italian. That's why you use immersion usually, like an event, 12 hours a day, 3 or 4 days in a row. But I know sometimes people just their life circumstances or their current beliefs, and they go, I don't know if I want to make that big a jump, and it seems like it costs me too much, or travel. So I figured let's cut away travel, let's cut away costs, let's cut it all down to something where we can give anybody, no one left behind, a set of tools and a community. And I got to tell you, I'm so grateful to all of you because you're so generous with one another. I've been reading the comments, each month I see what people share. I get to hear what happens out of the coaching sessions you've done. And it just touches my heart to see so many people have a challenge and multiple people jump in and share about how they can help them. And that's really what this is about. It's a community. And I hope you're maximizing the tools because it's designed to be your 24/7, 365 place you can go to get answers. And we've included the Tony AI as well. And I know many of you have used that and found great value in it. But I hope you'll do everything you can to maximize your experience while you're here, whenever you need it. That's what we're here for. And today, our focus is going to be, ironically, on alignment. Our sound and our visuals were not aligned. It didn't work very well. So we're going to be showing you the power of alignment. And, I don't know if you've had, let me just ask you, how many of you have had an experience in your life where there's some area of your life where you really, truly felt like you really needed to change something, you had the best of intent, and then you didn't follow through and you got upset with yourself. You didn't follow through again. And maybe at some point just got so frustrated you didn't even try anymore. Who can relate to this in some area of life? Make a little noise if I got you out there. So today, what I want to do is show you what gets in the way. And by the way, it's inner conflicts. If you think about human beings, when we're completely aligned, we know what we want, why we want it. We have, such high purpose and meaning and emotion and high energy. When everything is aligned, we usually make significant progress. And if you keep making progress, you get to where you want to be in your life. But when there's inner conflicts, when we're in a place where, we really want, to be in a position where we're, totally loved by people, and at the same time, we want to be totally honest. Sometimes those show up in a conflict. Or somebody has a conflict in their life. They want to make $1 billion and they want to sleep till noon. These are conflicts, right? But sometimes they're more subtle. And what we're going to do today is show you a way to align yourself, how to figure out the difference between what you want consciously and what might be going on subconsciously, meaning your other than conscious mind, the part of your brain that makes your heart beat 100,000 times a day. If you're not making the progress you want in the area that really matters, there's an inner conflict. And I'm going to show you today, we're going to take you through a process today of how to shift that I think you'll find really valuable. I usually only do it in a seminar. We have more time. But I figured, what the heck, let's just dive in. Who's up for it here today? Make some noise if you're out there ready for this, ladies and gentlemen. And so, but before we start, we have a little tradition here, which is I love to just take 2 or 3 people real fast and just acknowledge their progress, because there's so many different role models. Some people have these gigantic changes, some small, but they all matter. And so I'd like to start with Nikki Young. Nikki's from London, the UK, and I was reading her forms and what she was writing about, and really interesting story. She was really quiet and shy and kind of bullied in school, kind of an introvert by her own description. And then just recently, I think it was last November, if I remember correctly, she got divorced after 31 years in marriage and felt like she had no support structure whatsoever. She's been raising her daughter, 16 years old now, is autistic. And you can only imagine the challenges of that. She's caring for her 24/7 and being in a place that, literally you're constantly feeling like you got to be there for somebody. And then, because of the familiarity, she needed to stay there in the home with her dad. So you can imagine the feeling of abandonment she felt. And she described those feelings, moving out and being on her own. And she felt really isolated and didn't feel like there was much meaning. So I just want to thank all of you in Inner Circle, because her own description said that she found like it was like coming home when she came here. And she attended the Time to Rise Summit. That's how she got introduced. And then she had a chance to do the Inner Circle. And it's only been 3 months, but she's had these huge changes. And she went to Unleash the Power Within. But I just want to acknowledge her because she's made some giant changes. She found out she had autism herself, which she didn't know. But what I noticed here is that she said she went from being like a hermit, separated from people and abandoned and divorced, into really contributing and connecting. And she now knows that she really wants to help people with ADHD and autism Like that's the direction she really wants to go. And she's totally changed her energy and her eating patterns. So please give it up for Nikki Young. I think she's on screen there to have her. There she is. Give it up for Nikki, everybody. Nikki, would you like to tell people where you were and where you are in terms of how you're feeling these days? Can you hear me? Yeah, I said, would you like to share where you were and where you are now to share with people?
Sorry, I couldn't unmute myself.
Oh, no problem.
As you said, I went to UPW in March because I was feeling a very low point in my life. Felt very lost with no purpose. And I think I've always felt a little bit like I was an outsider and a bit inferior to other people, like there was something wrong with me. I was broken. And I was bullied at school and ended up basically not talking. I developed selective mutism, and I've always hidden in the background and tried to make myself small. And then during UPW, it was during the Dickens process, I suddenly thought, I can't waste any more time, because what I've always wanted to do is to help people, and especially children who are struggling, maybe being bullied like I was, or who are just shrinking themselves because it feels like a safer option to hide. And just to help them to see that they can do anything that they want to do, and that someone is listening to them, and understands them. So that's what I've always wanted to do, but I felt like I wasn't good enough to do that. But as you say, I've joined Inner Circle, and everybody's been just so amazing and supportive and inspiring. And I feel like I do have that community around me now, which has really helped me to give me the confidence. And now I've joined Mastermind, and last week I've signed up for the Robbins Medanis training as well, which I'm really excited about.
Wow, that's wonderful. Give her a hand for that. That's awesome. You're going to get the skills then to be able to help anyone. That's really awesome. Well, listen, I'm so touched by what you've done, and I'm glad you're doing Robbins Medanis, because that really will give you skills like no other. You'll see all the interventions, how they work. You'll learn how to do it. You'll be able to do what other people think will look like magic. But I want to do something else for you as well. I'm going to have you come to Date with Destiny as my guest. We only do it once a year in December. I just know it'll be exactly the thing, because I know as you transform, you're going to help others. So my gift to you, so stay on the line. My team will arrange it for you, but you're going to have an incredible experience. So 6 days, we only do it once a year. It's the best program I do. Give her a big hand for it, ladies and gentlemen. Give it up for her. You're so welcome. Let's do 2 more real quick. I hear a lady here was reading her notes, Jen Davidson. She's from New Zealand. I love that we're all over the earth here together. It's so wonderful. We have over 10,000 people, I think on this line right now, about 7,500 from what I understand, from all over the world participating. And it makes for such an amazing community. But I was writing down some notes on her. She was been married young when she has 3 kids. But she felt like, I don't know if any of you can read, like she kind of lost her identity. Sometimes when children are born, something else is born. It's called a mom. It's the most beautiful thing in the world. But sometimes it becomes so all-consuming that, women can feel like there's nothing else. So like they're spinning their wheels. And I got to tell you, some of you know that, I have 5 kids and 5 grandkids. But I have a 50-year-old daughter because I adopted her when I was very young. And I also have, now a 4-year-old daughter. And going through the experience again at this stage of life with my wife is just, I salute every woman out there. I don't know how, especially women that are single moms with 1 or more children. I mean, guys have no clue what it means. They really do. I get to be there for my daughter, but it's not the same as a mom, I gotta tell you. So anyway, she was running a dairy farm and barely breaking even. I made a note, she said their revenues were about 600,000. She felt she was extremely overweight and lacking vitality. So what'd she do? Well, she came to the Time to Rise Summit back in January 24, and then she attended Unleash the Power Within, and then this November joined Inner Circle, she hired a coach, and she got involved with Unleash Her Power Within with Sage as well. Anyway, the changes she's made are just been incredible. One of the things she said in her notes here was inner circle works. It really helps me realign myself. And that one reason that's what today's session's about. So I want to ask her about that. But I know she changed her identity about being a mom where it really shifted her so she feels the love again. And I understand she's on track to do over $1 million in revenue, ladies and gentlemen. And she's lost 66 pounds. Give it up for Jen Davidson, ladies and gentlemen. There she is. Give it up for her. Jen, so nice to meet you, and I assume that's your husband beside you there.
Yes, this is
Hello.
Matt, my husband, yeah. I thought I'd better bring him along to share.
That's wonderful. Well, it's nice to see you both. Well, tell us, I try to give what I read about you, and I'm so touched by some of your story. I mean, first of all, congratulations on 66 pounds. That alone will change your life because you feel so much lighter, but the emotional changes made, growing your business to $1 million, that's pretty awesome. Tell us where are you? What's changed? I'd love to hear directly from you.
So I think at the beginning of last year, I did the Time to Rise Summit, which I scribbled down heaps of notes and stuff like that. And then I lost my grandmother, who was very close and dear to me. Like growing up, she was like my second mum. Like I didn't have any other grandparents. So losing her was really hard. And then it hit my dad really hard as well. And I guess for me, the realization that I'm the next one in line, like I've just moved up in the family order. And my dad's 73, 74, and I guess I felt that real sense of responsibility on myself. And I just didn't feel like I was living. You know, like I was overweight and I was just stuck in the grind of being a mum and ticking off the list and just living from moment to moment, and just it was real chaotic. So I started losing the weight, and as I lost the weight, then everything else in my life just started to flow a lot more. And I joined Sage because I wanted to get that deeper connection with myself, the person that I was before I was a mother. And so my husband here supported me along the journey, so it's not been done alone by any stretch of the imagination. But
That's beautiful.
So actually we just finished up our last financial season, so I was busy working late into the night last night, and we actually did $1.2 million worth of revenue last year.
Wow, give them a hand. That's incredible.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Super stoked. Yeah.
That's a beautiful
working
start.
with absolutely. And our coach has been absolutely amazing because he's really kept us online. We've done the 2%. It's those 2mm shifts, and it's just constant going back, monitoring, measuring, and growing and stretching. And wow, life is just so beautiful when you're living every single day.
Well, you must be very proud of her. Tell us what you've perceived that changed in your lady there. I'm curious.
Yeah, like 100%. I guess if we go back a couple of years ago, like we just did a big walk in New Zealand. It's called the Oval Tasman. It's a national park, and we would have never done that going back, even 2 years ago. So the drive and the change has been amazing.
Wow, that's beautiful.
Yeah, and I sit in as kind of a passenger on these and learn a lot myself as well. So, but yeah, she's obviously adapted to that very well and loves these sessions. Yeah.
Well, I'm so glad. Well, tell you what, you guys are growing your business like crazy. I'm doing Business Mastery here in August. I do it once a year live and in person. And you can either come, I know because you're in New Zealand, if it's too much to travel, you can attend digitally as my guest, both of you. Or if you want to come here in person in Palm Beach, I'd love to meet you. You have either option, but you stay on the line and we're going to provide that for you for the incredible example you both are and what you're accomplishing in your lives. We really honor you. Give them a big hand, both of them. It's beautiful.
Thank you.
one more, and then we'll get to our content on alignment and, you know, limiting those inner conflicts. But I picked this one for a similar reason, in that this gentleman's name is Stephen Hicks. He's from Spokane, Washington, here in the U.S. And what was interesting, we all get caught up at times in certain emotions. Some people get really fearful. Some people get really angry. It has a lot to do with your way you're raised, and some extent maybe how you kind of walked in this world. But he was living in a real, what I would call, suffering state. You know, suffering is anything that is outside what you really desire in life. But the states he was experiencing, as he described it, was feeling like he was really angry. It was very easy to be triggered. He was shutting down. And most importantly, kind of feeling like he was playing small, but really wanting more. And I don't know how many people can relate to ever feeling that way. Like, you know, you want more, but you don't feel like you're not enough, or you're just, the game's not big enough. And I guess over 2 years, he had an online business where he's doing fitness and wellness coaching. And it shrunk by 50%, which has got to be pretty brutal. And then in his relationship, he said things got transactional. He said that, you know, the anger kind of was a wedge between him and his family. So what'd he do? You know, he went out, I made a note, he said he overdrafted his bank account so he could sign up for Inner Circle and unleash the power within, which quite a stretch. So he obviously did on faith. I did the same thing. That's how I started my career. I didn't have the money for my rent, but I figured I'll never be able to pay my rent unless I learn how to change myself. So I did a similar thing, but I really respect him for that. And he said he knew if he didn't shift, he was going to continue living this low energy, kind of angry state. And after the first month in Inner Circle and going through Mastering Influence, he saw dramatic changes. And then he started using Tony AI and created some irresistible offers for his business, which I'm thrilled he was able to do that, and got involved in Business Accelerated. So now he's had his second best month in revenue since 2018 in 7 years, reversed the downward spiral. He's recorded a record number of new clients. He's got 50% more clients right now than in January of 2025, and he's got 60% higher growth in his business year on year, and he's feeling really happy. So meet and give a big hand to Stephen Hicks, ladies and gentlemen. Stephen Hicks. Stephen, you got the energy in your body. I can see that. Nice to meet you.
Hey, it's a pleasure to be here, Tony.
Yeah. Tell us about where you were, where you are. What changed?
Yeah, so like you mentioned, like the business was going backwards. It was spiraling, and I started kind of shrinking. You can see that I'm a very energetic, charismatic individual, but I was starting to get just kind of like dark and dim. And I was hiding from my problems. It was a couple of years of being in significant debt, and just I was disappointed in where I was versus where I should be. And I just try to hide from it. And then, like you mentioned with suffering state, it was explained to me by Christy Kirkudi. I don't know if you remember her, but she was telling me that suffering states, you know, they come from when you're obsessed with yourself, focus on yourself.
That's right.
And I was running into all these conflicts where the family that I lived with, I had different standards, I had different expectations, and I was getting angry when that didn't get matched, right? I was obsessed with what I wanted, how I viewed things, and yeah, it was holding me back. And then I wasn't showing up well for my family, so I wasn't fulfilled there. I wasn't happy there. I wasn't showing up at networking events to be friendly and have friends. I was just trying to make more money to survive, to pay rent. And I want to support and encourage and elevate other people, and I was just trying to get money, and it just didn't feel right, and it wasn't working.
Yeah. And then what has shifted for you now? What do you feel now?
Yeah, going through UPW definitely shifted a lot of that. The beautiful state trainings in Inner Circle were amazing. And I just, you know, being able to say that a beautiful state is a decision that you can make. That's been helpful. And so I've been more resilient, more patient. My nephew doesn't trigger me anymore. I let him be a 10-year-old kid, and the blessing that is. And yeah, in content, right? In social and marketing. Like I'm there helping people. And it turns out people like you when you help them more than sell them. And so that's been helpful with the business as well. And now finances are stabilized, like there's traction and momentum, and I feel amazing. And I know the best is yet to come.
Wow. I'm really proud of you. Proud of you. You give him a hand for starters. That's really amazing. Give him a hand. I really am just proud for you. I said proud of you. It might sound like I'm superior to you. I don't have that thought at all, but I think we all get in those places. And I hope those watching, you're such a beautiful example because men and women, but men especially, have an idea of where they think they're supposed to be. And when they're not where they're supposed to be, they either get really angry or really sad. Some men go internal and get really depressed. Some men get really aggressive outside. And then people around them don't understand because, they did nothing. But what it is you're so beating yourself up. There's, it's like if I rub your arm like this, no problem. But if you got a scab there, I could touch you with a cat hair and you're going to get set off. And there's like a scab on that person feeling they're not where they want to be. But you hit the nail on the head. And I hope those of you who have not gone through, it's part of Inner Circle, the beautiful state training. I think it's one of the single most important distinctions in life because, there are, all kinds of goals you can set for your life. And if people talk about being a millionaire or a billionaire, billionaires are a dime a dozen. And what's really rare is someone who can live in a beautiful state no matter what happens. In other words, when things go well, if you're happy, well, any idiot can do that. But can you find a way to find fulfillment when it's not going your way, when it rains on your parade? Because life doesn't always go the way we want it. And if the only time you're going to be happy is when things are perfect, then you're not going to have a very great life. And also, when you're in a lousy state, as you noted, it affects your family. It affects the people around you. It doesn't just affect you. It affects your health, affects your finances. And the other part that I just really love about what you just shared that I just want to remind everybody is, serving is what makes you a leader. And leadership is not position. When someone's trying to sell you, that's very different than someone who really cares about you and they're trying to move you to action because they really know this will change your business or your life or your career. And I found in my life early on, I had that initial drive. And then I had a short time when I was like, 19, 20 years old. I was working hard and got caught up in the same thing. I got to achieve these goals. And it became about just the economics and nothing worked, because people don't give a damn about you when you don't care about them. But when you sincerely care about them, you can't fake that. People might even be skeptical. I know people come to a seminar and they'll start out like this, but I've had guys, one of my dearest friends I met from 30 years ago, and he said he came in, he was like this, and who is this guy? Who does he think he is? And all that kind of stuff. And he goes, in those days, I wore a suit on stage. It was, the 80s and 90s, right? Early 90s, and a tie. And he goes, when you were jumping that high and the sweat started coming down your tie until 3/4 of your tie was wet, I thought, that guy must really give a damn. I could jump a few times myself and make a change, So I'm really thrilled for you. You've made a giant shift, and now you've got a new momentum. And I want to help you with that a little further. There's people ask me, like, what are the most important skills of your life? Well, the ability to manage my own emotional state and be able to change it in the most difficult times is still the most important skill. And the capacity to create deep relationships and love, to me, is one of the most important skills. It's a skill. But I think the third one really is the ability to take control of your focus and your time. Because time is not just like what goes on in the clock. When I ask people, how much is a long time? People go, what do you mean? Or just your first gut reaction. Some people will say, well, it's a week. Some people say a month. Some say 10 years. Some say 100 years. Well, we all have a different idea what a long time is, but I can give you a simple definition. When you're not having a good time, it's a long time, right? When you're suffering, it's a long time. When you're having a great time, time disappears, right? It just goes by. So managing time is really managing emotions. And I've got a program that I've built. I've got 114 companies now. And there's a system that I designed years ago, different than anything you've done. I don't care if you have a digital system, that you do on your computer or your phone or your iPad or on paper. They all have the same problem. The problem is they ask you to start with, what do you need to do? And it's the wrong question. And so I developed something called RPM, which is a process that shows you how to figure out what do you want and why do you want it, and then figuring out what needs to be done to get it done. And that sounds very subtle, but it's very giant in its result. I'll give you an example. I remember President Clinton calling me one time. I was 31 years old, and I get this phone call, and he says, Tony, they're going to impeach me in the morning. What should I do? I'm like, well, first, could you call me sooner? It's tomorrow morning. But I said to him, Mr. President, if I may share with you, I think you're asking the wrong question. because asking what should you do is not the right question. I said, because it depends on what do you want. If you want to stay in office, you can just do what you're doing, because even though they've impeached you, the Senate is never going to convict you, and you know it. And I said, plus you're a lawyer, you know you can say and not say and get through. But if you want the American people to respect you or have their children respect you, you might have to say, I might do something different. So this process, it's as powerful as Date with Destiny, and I haven't taught it. I've done it in all my companies, but I haven't taught it for 20 years. I built some new software, and so I'm doing that program, and I'm going to send you to it. And so I'm going to put it up on the schedule there. Can someone tell me what the date is? It's coming up on July 29th through the 31st. So you stay on the line, and you can attend it digitally. You don't have to travel for it. I'm going to provide some software for you can use. You can also do it without the software if you just like doing paper. But you're making so much progress. If you take control of your mind, your emotion, and your time, you're going to crush a whole new level. And I just want to provide it for you as a gift as you continue your journey. So give them a big hand. We really appreciate your example. So let's get into our content for today. And again, thank you all for being part of this community. I treasure it. I treasure the impact you have on each other. I love being able to be helpful to all of you, and all our programs are there for you every single day. But one part of the beauty besides our coaches is what you do for each other. And I just think it's wonderful. So let's talk about this concept of alignment. You know, there's an old phrase we've all heard a million times. And, you know, when you hear a phrase that's been overused, it becomes trite. But the truth is, when you hear a statement that often, it's because it's true. And one of those is, you know, united we stand, divided we fall. And within ourselves, we don't have one personality. Most of us, because of the simplicity of life, we try to make everything simple. So we try to generalize it into a simple way. Like, that's a good person, that's a bad person. Well, can bad people be good? Of course they can. Can they be nice? Of course they can. Can mean people be nice? Of course they can. Can nice people be mean? Of course they can. Because inside all of us are many different emotional states. And there are certain things that you've learned to be, that you've learned since you were a young child, that's acceptable and important, especially by who had the most influence over you. Whoever's love you crave the most. You might have loved both your mother and father, but one of those you crave more. The one that you crave more tends to influence what we call your model of the world, your set of rules for life. And you get reinforced, and after a while, you think you're that person, or you rebel and go, I'm never going to be like that. People do one or the other. They model what they've been taught in order to be loved, or they rebel. And so very often, these patterns are deep in our unconscious minds. We're not even aware of them. And they create conflicts for us later in life, because we're more than just one personality. How many of you have been with a friend and then all of a sudden they acted so different than ever? You go, that's not like John, that's not like Mary. Who can relate to this? You had a conversation with somebody that acted so different, right? I would argue to you that is another part of John, that it's another part of Mary that doesn't get expressed very much. And now if it's sounding mean or harsh or weird, it's because they've been rejecting that part of themselves so much, trying not to be that. So without having to go deep on this, because we have such limited time, what I want you to know is, if you're trying to make progress on something and you keep going at it and you keep failing, or after a while you stop even trying and it bugs you, the reason you're not making progress is because of an inner conflict. And in order to resolve the inner conflict, you need to understand a principle of alignment. Because, by the way, when we're aligned, that means what you want consciously and subconsciously, your body, your mind are aligned. And when you're aligned, you move forward. And you, again, when you keep moving forward, you're going to make progress, and progress eventually leads to whatever it is you're after in your life, right? So in order to understand what's been holding you back, there is a principle that I learned when I first started studying with John Grinder, who started neurolinguistic programming. And he learned it by studying two of the greatest therapists of all time. Virginia Satir, who in the 1970s and early 80s, before she passed, was considered the best family therapist in the world. And Milton Erickson. Dr. Erickson was a hypnotherapist, probably the greatest that ever lived. Both of them had this core belief that helped them help people that no one else could help. People had gone for years for a problem and they couldn't turn around. If they saw Virginia Satir with their family, or if they saw Milton Erickson, they changed. And the why? Because they both believed that and I want you to jot this down, all human behavior, all human emotion has a positive intent. Let's start with that. All human behavior, all human emotion has a positive intent. Meaning, even though it looks crazy on the outside, it's trying to give you something important on the inside. And so in these positive intents, you're not usually conscious of. It's your subconscious mind. Again, your other than conscious mind. The part of your brain that makes your heart beat 100,000 times a day. You don't tell it to, it just takes over. You don't have to worry about it when it sleeps. It does it for you. It's the most powerful part of you. Now, some people sit around and analyze their past to try to figure out all their subconscious beliefs. And I would suggest to you that that's a rabbit hole you don't want to go down, because you'll just get caught up in all the old stories of your life. Instead, I want to today see if we can't focus on something slightly different. Virginia Satir, this family therapist, had this belief that in families, just like in individuals, there are many parts. There's many members of a family. And that there is a cohesive part we play to support one another. Like we take on roles to support the family as a whole. I'm trying to explain something fairly complex in simple ways, but I hope I'm getting across to you. Let me give you an example. In a family, if there's a person that's being physically abusive, let's say the husband of the family is physically abusive to the wife, a child will very often act out and cause that person to stop focusing on abusing the mother and focus on them. Even if it causes them to beat them, they'll do that out of their love for their mother to take it away. They're doing a behavior that looks terrible, acting out, but its positive intent is to save their mom. How many follow what I'm talking about? Make a little noise if I'm making some sense to you here, ladies and gentlemen, right? Now, the child, by the way, doesn't usually do this consciously. This is their own subconscious as part of this family unit. Well, within you, there are many parts. How many of you have a part of you that can be very courageous, that not all the time maybe, but can be really bold when you need it to be? Who's had that experience inside yourself? How many of you have a part of yourself that's a scared little brat that can get fearful over little crap at times, right? Or get stressed out, make some noise, right? So there are many parts of you too. And sometimes if they're not in alignment, they create conflict, and that's when you find yourself taking 2 steps forward to make a change and then 3 steps back. 1 step forward, 2 steps back. People call it sabotaging themselves. All it means is there's an inner conflict between these two. So I'm going to show you a process that I've developed. When I learned NLP from John Grinder and Richard Bandler, the 2 co-founders of NLP, Neuro-Linguistic Programming, in the 70s, they came up with this, what they called a 6-step reframe. And what it was when you weren't getting behavioral changes, they'd have you kind of tune in to whatever behavior you had going on in you and start to ask, what is this positive intent? And kind of listen for the first thoughts that came. I'm going to give you a process a little bit more complex, meaning it's got more steps to it, but I'm going to demonstrate it for you. And I'm going to demonstrate it with a video with someone that actually I did this with 2 years ago, who was bulimic. And her bulimia was so extreme, she thought she was going to die. No matter how painful it was, no matter what it did to her body, no matter what it did to her family, she wouldn't change. And I'm asking you to watch it and do it with her, but I'm going to set you up first. Before I even do that, though, I'm going to take 4 minutes, and I want to show you an example of me from years ago, because I just saw this a couple days ago. I'll mention something, by the way. I made a partnership with Paramount Pictures, or Paramount, the company, and I'm coming out with my own 24/7 television program, network, not just a show, but a network. And it launches the end of August, and we'll get you information about how you can join it and so forth. Right now, it'll be in all the English-speaking countries, so it'll be Australia, New Zealand, Canada, the US, the UK, etc. But it'll expand in the next year, so it'll be in every country in the world. And they're using AI, so I'll be speaking with my lips matching in that language with my tone of voice. So it'll be really fascinating. I'm designing to try and help as many people as we can. I'm sure you'll enjoy it. So in that network, we have some interventions from the past that I've done. And I saw this one. I was thinking about doing this session with you, and I thought this is such a perfect example. So I've got a compressed version of it that's like 4.5 minutes. But here's a little girl that's suicidal. Okay, that's all I'm going to tell you. She's 13. This is any parents. How many got kids out there? Make some noise. You got some kids. This is any parent's absolute biggest nightmare, to think your child's suicidal. And I want you to watch in these just couple of minutes. Again, this was actually about a 40-minute conversation, but I'm just going to show you 4 minutes compressed. So you get this sense of what positive intent is, okay? So sit up, jot a few notes if you want. This one you're not going to do. You're just going to watch for 4 minutes, but it'll give you, I think, the point better than I can just verbalize. Take a look.
Life isn't worth living. I took the pills about 2 months ago, and most of it has to do with my parents. Like, I don't feel like they understand me. I just told them that I was having these thoughts and I just wanted someone to talk to, like a counselor or something, and they just kind of like pushed it aside. Like, they didn't believe me. They just thought I wanted attention. But I actually took a lot of pills, and then I told my parents, look, you need to get me to the hospital like right now, because if you don't, I am gonna die. And I wanted to live, but in the back of my mind, there's still that little voice that was like, you don't want to live, you don't want to live.
She feels her parents don't understand her. And for a woman, which she's a young girl, but there's a woman inside, men, this is a lesson for you, for your daughters, as well as the woman in your life. There's nothing more important besides being loved than for a woman to feel understood. So she doesn't feel understood by her parents. What's happening between your mom and dad that you want to distract them from?
They do have some problems with their marriage.
You're afraid they're going to divorce?
I have thought that, yeah.
What if they're not happy with their marriage and they choose to change that?
My mom knows that they have problems, and she's tried to tell my dad, and my dad is an extremely hard person at times, and he just does not want to hear it. And sometimes I just feel torn, because my mom will try and pull me against my dad, and my dad tries and pulls me against my mom. He never used to be like that. When they first met, he was the most caring, wonderful, loving person she'd ever met. They've been married for 17 years. So.
Wow. How many of those years were they happy?
6, maybe.
So half your life they were happy and the other half they're not.
Well, I wasn't born, because I've asked my mom that. I was like, did he start acting this way after I was born? She's like, no, it was about a year or 2 before you were born.
What do you think happened a year before you were born?
I have no clue.
What matters most in the end?
My family staying together.
If their daughter's suicidal, they better stick together, huh? Genius. There's one thing you don't understand, that you don't want to hear, but you need to, and I know you're willing to, because if you look in my eyes, you know I have a love for you that doesn't come from something you're giving me. Your mom and dad may need to be apart. I don't know. They may be miserable because they have completely different approaches to what they want for life. And they may feel trapped because they love you. As long as you're attached to that specific result, then you're no longer committed to the happiness of the people involved. What matters most is they stay together, even if they're miserable, that they should stay out of fear and guilt till you all grow up. So they should have a decade of their life miserable. That way you won't kill yourself. And then your sisters and you can learn that a relationship is about giving up everything and being unhappy. And then you guys can all do the same thing. Ooh, that one went in deep, didn't it? Ooh, wow.
No, I was just thinking about something I hadn't thought about before. My mom told me something. Before they were married, she got pregnant. And my dad really, really, really wanted to have kids, and my mom didn't, so they had an abortion. And I think he blames her for that. I think she blames herself for that, too.
You just came up with the answer to what happened before you were born. Give her a hand for that. That's beautiful. We have a choice in our life to give things a meaning. The meanings we give control our entire lives. Big problems start with little thoughts, and great achievements start with little thoughts. So you want your mom to be happy and you want your mom to feel loved. Mm-hmm. So what's the truth? Can you really control all this?
No.
Will you ever attempt to take your life again under any circumstance, no matter how crazy or scary it is?
No.
Why not?
Because I know now that I'm not responsible for my parents' problems, and I can't put all their blame on myself.
Let me show you. My team just told me they have it. Let me just show you. We did a follow-up with her just for a minute so you can see what happened to her and what her family thinks about it a year later. Here you go. Oh, you don't have it yet? Okay, never mind. Anyway, I hope you get the sense of what I'm talking about now. How many got great insights in that for yourself or your family here, ladies and gentlemen? Right? So the whole idea is there is a positive intent behind everything. Even someone trying to commit suicide, there's a positive intent. Even if there's no one else involved, the positive intent is to get out of pain, right? But there are better ways. So I want to teach you a process to find the better ways, to find the benefit that's really underneath it so that you can embody what your unconscious mind is trying to give you, which is some form of growth, some form of emotion or change. So I want you to think right now of something in your life that you know needs to change. It could be a behavior, it could be an emotional pattern. You know, getting angry all the time, being pissed off, getting frustrated, whatever. I know when I was reading through some people's notes here, that one was describing that she, has these allergies and it grew into this, massive fear of anaphylactic shock. And now she's got OCD where she wipes off everything. She can't touch everything. She was embarrassed, so she didn't want me to use her as an example, but she shared it. And it's like, okay, that's not hard to figure out that this behavior didn't come out of nowhere. This behavior is trying to serve her in some way. On the surface, you could say it's trying to protect her. How many understand that? It's like keep her safe, right, at some level. She got a belief that she's not safe somewhere, and so now her unconscious is trying to make sure she's overly safe. But it's now messing up her life in so many areas. But I would tell you that might be the early level intent. But as you're going to discover, there's deeper and deeper or higher and higher purposes behind things. And so the deeper purpose may be by doing this and obsessing about these things, it takes control of her focus because what she really doesn't have is a good relationship. And so she doesn't feel safe with men. She doesn't feel safe with anything. She wants love. So what she really wants is love, but she's focusing on just safety so that she doesn't have to feel like she's not enough. I know that sounds complex. It is. But how many does that make sense to? Raise your hand, make some noise if it makes sense so I know you're getting it. So, I've done this long enough in my own life that I know how to find that, but I want to take you through a process that can find it quicker. I saw another example I wrote down here was this woman said, for the last 5 years, she can't ask for anything. She can't ask for a raise. She can't ask for sex with her husband. She just hopes things happen and she's usually disappointed. Well, what would be the positive intent? We don't know this process. We'll find out. And you'll notice there's multiple intents. There's the base levels, kind of like if a dog barks and you don't pay attention, you might think there's a problem with their barking. You might think you got to do something with their throat. But if you watch, you'll see that someone stepped on their tail. You wouldn't go work on the voice. You work on the real problem, right? I want to get you to the real challenge and show you how to solve it. That's what we're going to do. Now, this process is something I would normally do over the course of probably 90 minutes to 2 hours in a seminar. So I'm jamming it. So we're not going to do it perfectly, but we can do it well enough that you could get a real big result right now today, or if you follow up and do what I show you, absolutely get the result. All right, so but I figured it's worth a try. Who's up for it here? Who's want to go for it? Good. So in order to do it, let's try this right now. Right now in your chair, kind of shake your body out in your chair, get some good energy in your body, right? Get strong a little bit, make a little noise, get some energy going just for a second. So you really got that going, ladies and gentlemen, come on. That's it. you're feeling strong, make a fist and say yes. Say yes. Say yes. Great. So now with positive expectation to start with, I'll tell you what we're going to do. I want you right now, step one is I'm going to have you think about a behavior you have or an emotional pattern. It could be like losing it, like the gentleman talked about earlier, getting really angry. It could be a behavior like smoking or drinking, or it could be something that you've been putting off. What's a behavior or an emotion that you really have been trying to change, or it needs to change, but you've not been successful? So I want you to think of it, and then what I'm going to ask you to do, first of all, who can think of something you really need to change in this area that's been tough to change? Okay, good. So step one is you're going to think of what that change is, and then we're going to do something that seems a little weird to some of you, I'm sure. I want you to just instinctively ask yourself if that behavior, that emotion is being generated by a part of me. Where does that part live in my body? And I want you to just instinctively think, I think it lives here. It's in my stomach, it's in my chest, it's in my shoulders, it's wherever it is, just instinctively, where does this part live? Ask, where does it live? And then touch that part of your body. Okay? Keep touching it. And then I want you to describe, if you would, just say it out loud. I know I won't be hearing you, but it doesn't matter. What color is it? If that part of you had a color, what color is it? What shape is it? What's the texture? Is it smooth or is it rough? And just feel that part of your body where this behavior or this emotion is generated from. All right? And now that's step one. Just feel it, know where it is, the location, the feeling, the texture, a color, shape. Is it big or small? Just feel where it is. And then step two is really simple. I want you to just breathe into that part of your body. Just breathe into that area. And as you breathe, I want you to just feel a feeling of trust and a feeling of appreciation. That instead of fighting that part of yourself, I want you to feel like, let it know, I really appreciate you. I know you have a positive intent for me. So touch that part of your body and tell that part of you, say, I just want you to know, breathe into it. It's almost like feeling love for it. Instead of fighting it and making it evil, you know there's a positive intent, just like you saw in the video a few moments ago. So I know there's a positive purpose behind your behavior. And as you're touching that part and thanking it, ask it right now, what do you really want from me? What's your positive intent behind this behavior? By at times making me angry or sad, or by making me put things off, or whatever it is, what are you really trying to give me? What's your positive intent? And then notice what it is. Notice your trust, the first response you get. And then thank that part for it. Say, thank you. I know I need that intent. I know what you're intending for me is something I need, and I'm deeply appreciative. Deeply appreciative. Raise your hand if you've uncovered what you think the positive intent probably is from that behavior. Raise your hand so I can see visually if you've got something. Okay, good, thank you. Now keep touching it and thanking it. And now you're just gonna go to the next step. The next step's really simple. After you thank that part of you, say, now that I'm completely feeling and experiencing this positive intent, this peace or this energy or this certainty, whatever it was giving you, whatever it was trying to give you. So now that I'm completely feeling and experiencing your positive intent, what do you want me to experience even more than that? What do you want me to experience even more than that? What do you want me to experience even more fully than that? And you'll discover there's a deeper intent even beyond the first one, a higher intent. So thank you for that. Now that I'm completely experiencing that love or that peace or that energy, or that certainty, whatever the intent was, now that I'm completely experiencing that, what do you want me to experience even more fully? What is that deeper intent? That higher intent? And raise your hand if you got another answer that's even deeper, even higher, even richer. Raise your hand if you got that, okay? Now just remember where that is, and we'll come back to it. And then you can open your eyes for a moment, and I'll just show you what we just did. And then I think what I'll do is I'll start someone else, so we'll just see someone live. And then I'm going to show you a video of someone. The reason to show you the video is because it's the full process, uninterrupted. And while you're watching, you can do it to yourself while you're watching. And then I'll check with you afterwards, and we'll integrate it afterwards. But let me pull up, I saw Anthony there. Do we have Anthony can throw up on there? I haven't met Anthony, but I saw some challenge he was facing, so I thought I could use Anthony. Is he available there? They're getting him up on the screen. Let's give it up for Anthony. There he is. How you doing, Anthony? So Anthony, I saw you were dealing with something for 30 years, it sounds like, if I understood it correctly, where you get overwhelmed over just about anything and start to shut down and go into panic attacks. And so tell us a little about what you're dealing with. Is that what you just picked just now to make a change in or not? I'm just curious.
Oh yeah, definitely. That's my
first
big
of all,
one.
thank you for, first of all, before we do anything else, thank him for joining us and sharing it. Really want to thank you, Anthony. Give him a hand, first of all. Appreciate it, buddy. So tell us a little about that.
Well, it kind of stems from PTSD and CPTSD in the military.
Yeah.
At 53, I was diagnosed 6 months ago with ADHD. So I got all kinds of letters going on there. But I am a recovering perfectionist. So,
Okay.
I found you in Time to Rise, and then UPW and KBB and now MBA, and I'm doing all these things, finally moving myself into what I want to do, helping veterans. But that overwhelming feeling, because I just have so much stuff. I mean, in this age of information, it's like, how do I sort through it? How do I sift through everything? How do I get my purpose going when I've got all this crap over my head? And I do kind of then shut down. So,
Right. So
tough.
just now, when you did this process just now, first of all, I'm thrilled for your progress, but we want to take you to the next level. So where was this, when you asked where does it live in me? Where is this part of me that causes me to go into overwhelm and kind of panic or shut down? Where was the location?
Right there, baby, right in the chest.
Okay, touch it right now with me if you would, and feel it again. Just feel it again, just so we know you got it there. And close your eyes and just tell me as you feel it, what's its color? What color does it represent?
It's red.
And what shape is it?
Round and spiky.
Okay. And so you just told me the texture as well. If it made a sound, what would it sound like? Just instinctively, first gut response.
Just a freaking scream.
Okay, now breathe into it a little bit for a moment. But when you breathe into it, don't just breathe into it. Imagine breathing into it. And what's your favorite color?
Yellow.
Oh, very nice. That's interesting. I pictured gold right before you said that. We must be aligned. I want you to imagine that yellow light, like almost like sunshine coming in and filling that space in you. Yes. And with that feeling, I want you to bring some trust in. I know that's been difficult for you in the past. But that yellow light, that golden light, that's the golden light of love. And love is something deeper than anything else. It obliterates anything that's in the way. There you go. I can see it in your face. And so send some breath and some trust and appreciation to that part of you that you may have been frustrated with or demonized or been trying to stop. Because the more we fight with the problem, the bigger the problem becomes. Sometimes problems need energy to live. The more energy we give them, the stronger they are. But this one has a positive intent. So just feel deep, breathe into that part of yourself and say, I want you to know I appreciate it. I know you have a positive intent for me. And tell me, what does it want from you? What is the positive intent that it wants? Ask it and then tell me what it says.
It wants to drive me forward.
Yes. And why does it want you to move you forward? Ask it. There you go.
Because it knows what I've wanted for 30 years is to break out of this, where I was stuck. and be able to move forward and follow that passion and start helping veterans who are struggling.
That's beautiful.
And hopefully not take their lives like I almost did too. So
that's beautiful. You know, those who go through, you've gone through what I would call spiritual pain, my brother. Spiritual pain is beyond the mind's ability to comprehend it. War does that, right? It's insane. But those who have spiritual pain develop, if they don't give up, spiritual strength. And because you've had spiritual pain, I have as well, not from war, from different situations. It gives you have a deeper part of yourself available than someone who's never experienced that pain. So thank that part of you for wanting this for you, for wanting this, that its intent is so that you can move forward. And as you feel that now, ask it. Now that I'm completely feeling this positive intent of being able to move forward, what do you want even more from me? What do you really want me to experience even more fully? What's even the higher intent than just moving forward? And what does it tell you?
It's love.
There you go. And feel that. That's so much stronger than just moving forward, isn't it?
Yeah.
So touch it and feel where the love grows. You may feel that the spot has expanded or moved to another location. What do you feel?
It radiates.
That's
I feel
beautiful.
it through my arms, through my legs.
That's great. And by the way, has it changed in its texture? Is it still spiky? That's right. Not so spiky. Good, good. And how about the color? What color is it now?
A bright yellow.
A bright yellow. Okay, good. And now thank it for that. Thank it for wanting love for you. Having the intention of absolute love for you. All right. And now as you feel that and you thank it, say, now that I'm completely and totally feeling love, what else do you want me to experience even more fully? Now that I'm completely experiencing both moving forward and even more importantly, love, what do you really want me? What's your positive intent? What do you really want me to experience even more fully now? And what's the answer it gives you? Even more fully. If I'm fully experiencing love now too, what do you want me to experience even more fully?
Embracing this passion and putting that all together and just running with it.
Yes. And by the way, with forward motion and love, you can embrace passion more powerfully. You can't do it through those two are in place. And now feel what that feels like if you're embracing your passion from a place of love and forward energy. What changes when you feel that fully?
Completely different.
Yes.
It's a different mindset.
Yes.
Different way of looking at it.
Yes. And there's no holdbacks in it, are there?
No. It's like I get centered and I'm right back to February 1st when that drive just hit me. And that love.
That's it. That's it. Feel that. And I want to have you take it one more level. One more level. So thank it for that. Say, now that I'm fully experiencing the passion of this, completely passionate, I've got the forward motion, I've got the love and the passion. I'm feeling it fully inside myself. Thank you for that intent. Now that I'm fully experiencing that, what else do you want me to fully experience? Even more than that, even more than the passion. There's an even higher intent. Trust it's there, Anthony. Ask it. Now that I'm fully experiencing that forward motion, that love, and the embracement of the passion, what else do you want me to even more? There you go. You got it more fully experienced now.
Living.
Yes. That's what all this is about, my brother. There you go. Feel that. Feel that even higher intent. It isn't just about forward motion. It isn't even as powerful as love. It's not just about love. It's not even just about embracing your passion. It's about truly living. That's an even higher intent. touch that part of you and notice, is it shifted in any way? Has it gotten bigger? Has it moved in location?
It's bigger and fulfilling.
Yes, yes. Oh, and look at that, and fulfilling. You've already jumped to the next one. Your unconscious already took you there. Living fully, your next higher level intent is feeling fulfilled. And that's so different than just forward motion. That's so different than even just love. That's so different than just engaging your passion. It's more important than just even living. It's being fulfilled, because when we're fulfilled, we have things to give. It's hard to give when you're not fulfilled inside. And notice, everything doesn't have to be perfect to be fulfilled. You can live in a beautiful state. All hell can be breaking loose and you can still be fulfilled because you know you're on the path. That your life has a purpose, right? That it's moving forward with love and passion and living fully and being fulfilled. And let's take it one more notch. Could there be something above that? Thank that part of you. Thank you for allowing me this gift to feel totally fulfilled. And now that I'm feeling completely fulfilled, what do you want me to experience even more than fulfillment? What do you want me to fully experience even more than fulfillment? Now that I'm fully fulfilled as well. And trust the response. Now that I'm feeling so fulfilled. There we go. There we go. You got it. There it is. It's beautiful. What is it, my friend?
It's being in that position of life where that fulfillment for me can then help possibly save
That's right.
veterans' lives.
That's right. So now my fulfillment is so strong that now I'm able to reach out and I'm able to touch others in a beautiful way as well. And by the way, I'm going to take you one more notch because there's still one above that. Hard to imagine, but it's there. So thank that part of you that wants to serve. That wants to serve those that have been in pain, those that you know because you've been through it as well, that wants to maybe save some lives by your fulfillment, your love, your passion, your forward motion. All those things come together so you can do that. And now that you're fully experiencing that and you're able to help others like this, ultimately, now that I'm fully experiencing the ability to help others at this level, what do you want for me even more than that? By doing all this, what do you ultimately want for me? What is the ultimate thing you want me to have fulfill more, experience more? There you go. There you go. There you go.
Sorry.
You got it. What is it? Look at that smile. That's beautiful.
To me, that right there is just, it's the meaning of life for me.
That's right. So experiencing my life is really totally meaningful. Yes. Feel what that feels like, Anthony. Feel that. What does that change?
Everything.
Everything. Yes. And just one more question. Touch it. Where is it now? Is it the same location? Has it grown, expand? Where do you notice?
Oh man, it's everywhere.
It's everywhere. That's right. Now it's through you, every part of you. All right? You feel that?
The charge.
Yes.
Yeah. It's a charge.
Life is so meaningful. And so now ask it one last question. If life is now totally meaningful, because I've moved forward, I got the love, I'm in a place where I've had my passion, where I've lived life fully, I feel fulfilled, I'm helping others, my life is totally meaningful, and I'm feeling all of that fully. What do you want me to feel even more than that? Even more than my life being totally meaningful. What do you want me to experience? The highest intent of all. What do you want me to fully experience even more? My life being totally meaningful.
For me, it's breaking free of these bonds that I put myself in, staying in the shadows and coming out and finally being able to step forward with this.
Give him a hand, everybody. That's beautiful. Give him a hand for that feel that's breaking free. Okay, I know you're gonna think I'm crazy, but I'm just gonna check. Thank that part of you for have you breaking free. Now look at, you're breathing differently now, aren't you? What do you notice now in your body?
Man, it's just like let's effing go, man. I tried to not say it.
That's awesome. So ask it. Now that I'm feeling absolutely free, is there something you want to experience even more than freedom? Even more fully than freedom. Now that I'm fully experiencing freedom, let's go. Is there anyone experience even more than freedom?
It just, to me, it's like it's just all centered now. Like,
there you go. There you go.
I'm one with it.
Yes. Now it's centered and one with. It's more than free. It's you. And that takes away all fear. Now it's just the centered experience of it all. Now, you're going to take all these. You're going to take all these and you're going to reverse into them. We're going to do it real fast because then we're going to show a video of doing this and everyone's going to do it. By the way, how many are following now? Make some noise if you're following the process. Make some noise so I know you're getting it. Right? So by doing this twice, I was only going to do just the first step with you, but I couldn't resist. I had to keep going.
This is great. I'll take it.
Okay. So let's do this. Take that feeling of absolute at one, feeling that feeling of your center, and now we're going to take it backwards. If I'm now fully centered and I bring that into total freedom, what does it do to the freedom as well?
It expands it.
Yeah. And now take that centeredness and the freedom, both of those you're fully experiencing, and take them into a meaningful life. And what does it do to the meaningfulness of your life? What do you experience of that now? When you bring those into a meaningful life, what is that? What do you experience now?
Just, gosh, it just, like hits every corner of everything. Just,
you got it. So now take that centeredness, that freedom, and that meaningful life, and take that into living fully. And what does it do to living fully when you pour all those into living fully now?
Man, it just looks like a great life.
Yes, it is. And now take all of those feelings, the centeredness, the freedom, right? The meaningful life, the living fully. Take all those and pour them into your passion. And what does it do to your passion?
Oh, jeez. Explodes it.
And then take all those, including your passion, the meaningful life, the freedom, the centeredness, all those pieces, and take all those into moving forward. And what does it do?
Kicks it into freaking high gear.
That's right. Now I want you to close your eyes and I want you to imagine just before you're born and God has made a soul contract with you. A contract in which you would go through experiences so that you could fully develop as a spirit and as a soul, not only to give to others, but also so that you would fully experience this life as God intended you to. Because that's how you're able to take other people there, because you're there now. You can't take people to a place you aren't. I can't move people unless I'm moved. I can't touch people unless I'm touched. And so feel that soul contract and feel yourself coming to earth and feel yourself growing up with all of this, with the feeling of moving forward, with the feeling of tapping into your passion, with the feeling of living fully, with the feeling of a meaningful life, with the feeling of the freedom, with the feeling of the absolute centeredness and the joy that brings, and feel yourself just literally growing up through your young ages, through your teenage years, where all that's there, and notice that it'll change some things in your history. Take it all the way through your young adulthood. Even take it through the time you went through those battles. But now, instead of the battles, you've had this experience carrying you through. All the way to today. And when you're arrived at today, fully integrated, you just open your eyes and notice that you're now connected to the real you, not the one that got reactive to the environment. How do you feel?
Amazing.
Yeah. What can you do from this place that's you, the real you?
Any damn thing.
And by the way, do you feel like being in a position where you're overwhelmed and you're gonna have panic attacks and not be able to deal with shit?
Nope.
No way. Anthony, you're a beautiful soul. Give him a hand, everyone. You're just so gorgeous. Give him a hand. You're so vulnerable, so true. So I did this with him. I was only going to do the first two and then do the video. I still want to show the video though, because I think seeing it twice, if you watched him, now this time you can watch this woman. Her name is Krista. She's a beautiful soul, really dynamic human being. And by the way, dynamic human being who contributes so much to people, but almost all of us have some area that isn't fully developed. It's just part of life. And that lack of full development is calling to us to find what we're really after. But most of us don't know how to find the positive intent. We don't even think there's a positive intent. We think it's a problem we should kill. You can't kill the problem when the problem is trying to give you some form of growth. You have to find that growth, that spiritual growth, and then the problem will disappear. Now, the reason I want to pick this example is because I can tell you, because a couple of years ago, and so just recently, but I was able to follow up with her. I have a group of people when we do our summit. There are some people that are influencers that are kind enough to help us promote our summit, tell people you should come and have this experience. And the ones that do, the top 9 of them, are usually once a year I connect with, along with my partner, Dean. And so she came to this session and I said, look, I'm here to help any way I can. Tell me what your challenge you're facing. And some people brought up business challenges, and that was what she's going to do. And then she did this instead. So first, let me show you what she's like 2 years later, just for 2 minutes. And then I'm going to take you through the process. And as you watch her, she was bulimic and was literally destroying her life. Nothing would change it by her own description. But when we actually show you how she did it, I want you to do it with her, in case you didn't do it that time. You already started. You know a part inside of you where it is. You know what that original intent was. You're thanking it. And then you're going to say, thank you. Now that I'm fully experienced it, what do you want even more? And it's pretty repetitive, but if you really listen, just like you watched him do this, you're going to find a higher and higher intent, and then we're going to reintegrate it, okay? And again, by seeing it twice, I think you'll really get it in your body. So first, let me introduce you to Krista. Today, she just shared this message with us today because we asked her how she's doing. Here we go.
Have you ever had something that you just felt like it was absolutely impossible to ever overcome? Hi, I'm Krista, and I had something like that I thought was going to absolutely be impossible to overcome, because it is something that I struggled with for 37 years. And I can get emotional thinking about it, but I had an eating disorder. I was bulimic, and it was something that I had tried to overcome just so many times. And I remember saying things to myself, like, it's just impossible to do. I'm never going to be able to do this. And then I would, I'd make a little bit of progress. And then of course I would go back to it. And it got to the point where I thought it was so impossible to fix that I started making excuses in my head and telling myself that, well, this is normal and it's okay. And I justified doing this thing that was, quite frankly, killing me. And I went to an event with Tony and Dean, and I remember it was with these 9 other amazing entrepreneurs, and we had the opportunity to ask Tony for help. And the question that I was originally going to ask him was, what can I do in my business to make more of a positive impact on people? How can I really, truly help people get true change? Because I want to help people, and that's my mission. But it wasn't really what I needed help with. And so I mentioned to somebody, like, I want to ask Tony this one question, but I'm scared. And somehow it got back to Tony and Dean. And of course, they were like, are you going to ask the real question? And so I asked this question in front of 9 other people, which, by the way, was very hard and very embarrassing. But I told them what was going on. And Tony and Dean were so gracious. Tony spent, like 45 minutes of this 3-hour, this 3-hour. And I felt so bad. I felt like, oh my gosh, I'm taking up all this time from all these people. But he worked with me through this eating disorder, and I had a massive shift. And that was about a year and a half ago. And I'm glad to say that I am no longer bulimic. The nice thing about it was he made me realize, like, I was identifying as a bulimic. And so I would say things like, I'm bulimic, and this is just how I am. And my mind had this narrative and this story of, it's impossible, you can never do that. And then I just justified it. So working with Tony and Dean and having that opportunity absolutely changed me from the core. And he did it in such a loving, non-judgmental way. I mean, he didn't, because I was so ashamed of that. I'm a coach, and here I am, like I've created, millions of dollars in business, and I've done such amazing things, but that was the one thing that I could not overcome. And Tony absolutely helped me with that transformation. And so I'm just forever grateful. And anything is possible. I say that if I could do that, I know I can do anything, because that was something that I absolutely did not think would ever happen. So it did. And life is amazing. I feel great, and my family's happier, and I feel better about myself and everything else. So thank you, Tony. Thank you, Dean, for your support and for the transformation, and for taking the time to do that, because it was amazing. I'll be forever grateful.
Once again, sit up in your chair, get some energy in that body, okay, ladies and gentlemen? And now we're gonna show you how she changed. You saw the result. This is how we did it. But as I walk her through it, you'll learn, you'll see by the example, but do it with yourself as well. So before we start, where did you start with? Where did you find that challenge was originated in your body? Touch that part of your body. Just remember where it is. Remember what the feeling was, the sensation or the color. Was there a shape? Did it have a sound? And what was that initial positive intent? Thank that part of you. Always thank it. You're not fighting it. It's a part of you trying to serve you. We misinterpret, right? We try to deal with the barking that's going on, the problem, but somebody stepped on our tail, right? We're going to figure out what the deeper purpose is. So when you thanked it and you said, okay, is there something, now that I'm fully experiencing this benefit, this purpose, this positive intent, what do you want me to experience even more fully? And it'll tell you, and we're going to continue that process up. So while you're watching, let's do it. Here's Kristen.
I have had an eating disorder for 37 years, and it's something I've done everything I can to try to stop, from counseling to being hypnotized. The only times I've been able to stop was when I was pregnant with my daughters.
And it's something that seems like almost impossible, like to overcome. Not to make an excuse, but I haven't lived at home since I was 13, and I was abused by my mom. And a lot of people that suffer abuse end up having bulimia, and I can't seem to kick it. So, I don't know. That's why I'm here.
Well, I feel your emotion in your voice and in your face, and you're in a safe place here. All these people around here are really beautiful people. You've not spent enough days to know that this is a safe place, true? A couple things I'll offer you. Number one, you're not the only person who goes through this experience, as you well know, but most people don't change because they compare themselves to other people who have had similar experiences. So then what that does is, besides the triggers that are already there, the neurological habits that are inside of you, you also have a social proof environment that's there. So you've been battling this. Would that be a fair description? Yeah. So when you go to battle with something, it usually sticks. What you resist persists. Most of us in this room have stepped up as achievers. What's the achiever model? Here's the problem, I'm gonna break through it, I'm gonna find the way. But there's some things, the more you focus on them, the more power they have. Problems need energy to live. And right now, you give this a lot of energy inside you. There's a huge, you wake up every morning and there's 100 units of energy, whatever that is. Everybody has a certain amount of energy, even if you have a ton of it. But you're waking up with 50 or 60 of it tied up with this situation continuously. So it's extraordinary what you've accomplished in spite of all this going on inside you, and you should be proud of that. But what will be much more liberating is for you to be free of it. And the way to be free of something like this is to not battle it. And that's really hard because you're an achiever. Like everything about you, that's why you're in this room. You achieve, you make it happen, you find the way, you push through. What's different about a situation like this is, I'd like you all to jot down something and remember it as long as you live, if you can, if you find value. You may not find value in this moment, but I promise you there'll be a time you do. Think of it this way. All human behavior has a positive intent. Even ugly behavior, even negative behavior, all behavior has a positive intent. I'll give you an example. I had a young woman that had tried to commit suicide 3 times. I think she was 13. And she stood up in a seminar and talked about this. And her parents are crying uncontrollably and everything's going on, right? And as I dug in, without going through the whole story, I knew that even the attempt to commit suicide has a positive intent. See, people only try to commit suicide if they believe that dying is less painful than living. But also, we all live in a connected world where we have certain needs for certainty. We have certain needs for variety, uncertainty. We have needs to feel significant. We have needs to feel loved. We need to grow. We need to contribute. Those 6 human needs. We value different needs differently. Some people value certainty as the most important thing. And if they don't have that certainty, they freak out. And even a problem can give you certainty. In fact, it's more certainty than the uncertainty of taking other things on. See, if I got a big-ass problem, my deepest fear is I'm not enough. That's what everybody's deepest fear is. And the deeper fear is if I'm not enough, I won't be loved. And love is the oxygen of life. So for you, let's do something. Why don't you stand up if you'd like, if you would. Let's give her a hand. Shake your body out just a little bit here if you would. How many of you have a behavior inside yourself that at times happens that you despise, dislike, or are frustrated by? Okay, good. So tell me what that behavior, and when I'm doing this with her, you can do a mini version of this within yourself. So here's what I want you to do. And for all of you can do this. I want you to think of the behavior you want to change. Tell me what it is, verbalize it directly. What do you want to change?
I want to stop throwing up.
You want to stop throwing up. Well, you don't want to stop throwing up. That's a very valuable way to get poison out of your body. You want to stop throwing up specifically in what context?
After I eat.
I want to stop throwing up after I'm ate, consciously making myself throw up. Is that true? You don't just eat and just throw up.
No, I make
Consciously.
That's right. So I want to stop forcing myself to throw up after I eat. Okay, so you need to be specific, because if you stop myself throwing up, her brain will go, phew. Throwing up is a survival instinct. She's already created a battle she can't win, because there's a higher purpose. So a lot of times we try to get rid of a behavior when the behavior is a good behavior, it's just bad context. So the first thing you gotta know is what do you want to change. You want to be very specific, and it's got to be something that when you make the change, it really is good for your whole nervous system, or it won't happen. So can we agree? Does your body agree that if you were to stop forcing yourself to throw up after food, That it would be better for you health-wise, better for you emotionally, psychologically, spiritually?
Yes.
Check in, ask yourself, is that?
Yes, totally.
Okay, good, great. Then what I want you to do is I want you to then close your eyes, and I want you to think about a situation where this gets triggered. I want you to think about a situation where you eat and then you go purge. What do you call it? You have a word for it. What do you say to yourself?
Don't worry, just like, it's just a part of me.
Well, now here's the next piece why you haven't separated from it. This is really important, another distinction. She says, it's part of me. That means she makes it her identity to purge. The only way you get lasting change is a change in identity. You can change for the moment. Like someone will say, you know, I'm gonna stop smoking. And they tell me I'm on day 5. The minute they tell me on day 5, I know they're going back to smoking. How do I know that? Because they're counting. Why are they counting? So they can tell people how long they lasted this time. Tell themselves or others. You follow me on this, everybody? Right? Or someone will say, I've lost 10 pounds. I've lost 100 pounds, 10 pounds, 10 times. Same 10 pounds, right? So what we need to do is close your eyes, and I want you to think about where this gets triggered specifically. And we got to separate this from her identity. Do you guys understand this? If I come to you and you stop smoking cigarettes, and then I say, would you like a cigarette? Are you going to say, what brand is it? No, what are you going to say? I'm not a smoker. That's right, I'm not one of those. She currently says, I am one of those. As long as it's her identity, jot this down. The strongest force in the human personality is the need to stay consistent with how you define yourself. I'm going to say that again. The strongest force in the human personality is the need to stay consistent with how you define yourself. Literally, you can't make decisions if you don't know who you are. And you made a decision about who you are a long time ago in a way that had positive intent. But it's worn out its use now, and you're still locked into it. And it's unconscious now. So our goal is not to fight it, but to find out what it's trying to give you, and let's make sure you get that so you don't have to do this.
I think a lot of it, I'm just like the thought of gaining weight is just like a really
Thought of gaining weight.
huge thing for me. Like I think so much of my, my physical appearance has been a thing for me.
I understand.
Very vain.
Yes. You want to give her a microphone so everybody can hear as well? Okay,
Even
great.
when I've tried, I did 75 hard, and I ate so perfect, and I, followed it perfectly, and I ended up gaining like 15 pounds because I was just eating, healthy stuff. Yeah. And so even now when I eat healthy, because I've been doing this for so long, my body doesn't know how to.
Yeah, your metabolism is trained in a different way, so it doesn't react well.
Yeah.
But you're also doing things that are making you more and more unhealthy.
Yeah.
And then you're going to really feel like shit, and then you're not going to look so good, and then you're not going to look good or feel good, and that's a terrible combination for anyone.
Yeah.
Right? So I hear you. But what I want all of you to get here is, if you don't change the identity, nothing changes. So if I get up every time, and by the way, Alcoholics Anonymous is a lot of things, but it's not anonymous. Okay? So it has about a 6% success rate. Because people get up over and over again. Don't get me wrong, my father-in-law has been in it 50 years, but when people get up and say, I'm an alcoholic, and they drop their physiology and go into a low state, and they have a bad identity for themselves, for a while they'll do it, but almost all of them return. Now, my father-in-law was different. He drew a line in the sand where for him, I'm alcoholic says, it's a disease. I can't drink alcohol. It's like a poison. It'll destroy my life. Not I'm a bad person. Do you follow? But if you get up every time and keep saying I'm an alcoholic and it's your identity, then you're always in the fight with alcohol. I know many people who never went to AA. They stopped drinking alcohol because it was so scary what happened to their family. And then one moment they stopped because they were pregnant. So we have the ability to stop clearly. So it's not a question of whether you can do it or not. It's just a habit. And you keep doing the habit because it's your identity. But when you had a new identity called a pregnant mother, pregnant mothers can't do that, so you didn't.
Yeah.
Take that in for a minute.
Yeah, I can do it. I always tell myself I can't. It's like, and I've done it, and then I stopped, and then I do it again, and then it's just
No,
this thing.
no, don't tell me the old story. Tell me what happened when you were pregnant.
I stopped both times.
Yes. So she clearly has the ability. So write this down. Change is never a matter of ability. It's always a matter of motivation. Reasons. You had stronger reasons. Change is never a matter of ability. It's always a matter of motivation, reasons. So she had strong enough reasons, and the reasons were tied to a new identity called I'm a mom. As a mother, I can't do this. But as just a normal person, it's who I am. And as long as it's who I am, that's what I do. Right? We all do whatever we think we are. But here's the problem. You're judging who you are by your behavior. That's how we all build our identity. We decide, this is who I am because look how I'm being. But you can be a really smart person and do stupid things. Who's done something stupid even though you consider yourself smart? But if you do it enough, you might say, I'm a stupid person because you look at what you did. But human behavior is variable. But you got in a behavior over and over again, and now it's locked into her identity. No, it's not. She's locked it in. She has the key to unlock it. Put a baby in her, it changes instantly. So you should be proud of that because it shows as powerful as you think this problem is, it's a piece of shit compared to your spirit. It's worthless compared to your spirit. When your spirit is engaged to serve something more than yourself, you're an unselfish human being, you step up and you do what's necessary. But you don't have to now, so you go back to the old one because it has a benefit, and we're going to find the benefit. We're not going to fight it. We're going to find another way to get the benefit and give you choices. When we're all done, you'll still have the ability. I'm not going to take away your ability to go throw up. I would never interfere with your own individual choices. But by the end of this conversation, if you choose to, you'll be able to do what you've done before, which is not have to throw up every time or even any time other than if it was really needed. So you have more choices. You can exercise them or not. I'm not here to impose my will on you, even if you request it, because all that'll do is create more of this. So it's an identity issue. If you are not making progress, it's time to expand your identity. Not abandon your identity, expand your identity. As a mom, she found resources she didn't have when she's not a mom. As a philanthropist, for me, I found resources that I didn't have when I was just a businessman. When you're a player, you have different concepts of who you are and what you're willing to take on than when you're finding a way. Right? So an identity shift is what she really needs, and that can be built by her doing new things. The more you do something different, the more you'll have a new identity. It's the most important principle of understanding influence, yourself or anybody else. Long-term influence. No one makes lasting change without a shift in identity. And when you make a shift in identity, it's easy to keep the change. When you don't, it's a battle. So you're going to have to think about what kind of woman would need to purge herself. What kind of woman would be able to enjoy her life without having to have that battle every day? What would that woman be like?
Pretty unstoppable, honestly.
What's that?
Pretty unstoppable.
Yeah. What would she enjoy in her life if she didn't have that battle to fight?
I'm really pretty happy, but I'd be even happier. It's like, and I love people.
Yes.
Like I love people. I'm just a people person. I'm coaching, and it's like, and then I almost feel, guilty about the fact that I'm this coach and I have this secret.
Yeah, but how would you feel if you didn't have this secret anymore, but you could tell people that you did this for all these years and then you finally found a way to stop it the same way you did when you were pregnant?
That would be great.
What would that do to your entire psychology about life?
It'd be transformational.
How many more people would you be able to touch? Because, we have this illusion that if we show people we're perfect, we can influence them. But what I found in my life is showing how imperfect you are and that you learn from it makes you approachable and real. And then they trust you. And they don't trust you when you say you're perfect because they know none of us are. But some people have a thing in their head they need to be perfect. And perfect is the lowest standard that a human being can have because there is no perfect. We all know there's no perfect. So what it really is you can't ever measure up. So you beat yourself up so you can prove to yourself that you really care. But when you beat yourself up, it lowers your energy. And when you lower your energy, you're more susceptible to do stupid things. And it just becomes a vicious circle. Who would you describe this woman as who was able to free herself from this? How would you describe this woman?
Just somebody who can do anything.
Yeah.
It's like...
How much closer could she be to people? Even though she loves people, how much closer should she be if she's not trying to hide anything?
Oh, better. I mean, it affects my kids, and it's not.
What would it do for your kids to know your mommy was able to handle this thing that troubled her for so long? What would they learn by your example? And how important would that be for their life lessons? Would it be more important than seeing their mom always did the right thing? Would they learn more if you'd always done the right thing, or if you did the most painful thing and you finally figured a way to change it? Which would be a better lesson for them?
The latter.
How much would it change their life to know there's always a way, no matter how bad it looks?
A lot. Everybody would, I think.
How would you feel about the fact that you gave them that lesson, not by your words, but by your actions?
I feel like it makes up for the fact that I've done it, you know.
So in order to do that, close your eyes. And once again, think of a situation where this gets triggered. It won't be hard. It happens all the time. And I want you to notice if you get an image or if you get some words, tell me what you experience.
I just full, heavy. I just eat myself to where I'm just sick.
Okay? And what do you notice when you're doing that?
It's very uncomfortable.
Where do you notice that discomfort?
Oh, in this area, my stomach area.
Okay.
And I always have anxiety, a lot of anxiety.
Okay, while you're eating, you have anxiety?
No, just most of the time.
Okay, most of the time. Well, of course, because you know your nervous system knows you're about to make it go into survival. If every day your nervous system knows it's going to go in survival, you're going to have anxiousness. See, it's one thing to have fear. You know what's great about fear? It's over once you handle it. Either go through it, it wasn't what you thought it was, or it was, and you go through it, and the fear is gone. Anxiety is constant, and which also would make you want to eat more, because when you eat a bunch, what it does is for a short moment, it comforts you because it makes you breathe in your stomach instead of how you do, which is very shallow in your chest. So try breathing in your stomach for just a second. In fact, do me a favor, make a fat stomach your deepest fear on earth. Breathe down into that abdomen there, and then blow it out and breathe it. When you breathe it out, push that stomach out as far as you can. Pretend you're pregnant. Oh, come on, you can do better than that shit. There's nothing. We can't see a fucking thing. Okay. Come on, you can do that. Give me a stomach, for God's sakes. Breathe into it. Breathe in it. That's it. You're blowing it out. Now, when you breathe in, breathe out the stomach. Like, fill it with air and bring it up. There you go. No, not up in your chest. You lift your shoulders. You ever notice that? Start with your stomach. Put your hand there. That's it. Now breathe down into your stomach. Try this. Breathe everything out till there's no air left. All the way out, all the way out, all the way out, all the way out, all the way out. Now, breathe in from the stomach. Extend it out, then up to the chest. There you go. And let it out nice and slow. And breathe in slowly from the stomach, slowly, slowly. Bring it up slowly, full. And then exhale nice and slow. And exhale even more. That's it. Now, go back to that moment where you're starting to overeat. You're not feeling great. Do you see images? Do you say anything to yourself? What you're doing in step 2 is you're getting associated to how it gets triggered. What do you do? Are there images? Are there sounds? Are there words? So that's the second step for all of you if you want to do this, or you want to do it later. Do you notice anything?
Embarrassment is.
And what does that mean, embarrassment, to you? Because it's a word. What do you actually feel? Sensations.
I don't know what it is.
So you don't know what you feel when you're embarrassed?
Yeah, you know, just it's embarrassing. The fact that I just.
So I want you to notice you use a lot of words and you don't know what they are. But when you use the words, you create the feeling. Mm-hmm. You have a habit of being embarrassed and being anxious. You use that word a lot internally. So you are, because when you claim it, see, my mother used to be really upset all the time. And the word she would use is humiliated. She would call my house. I'm old enough to have had a phone, something called a answer phone. It's before people like you were born. They had these experiences. It was a little tape recorder that was by your phone. And when the phone rang, it picked it up and it left a message and said, leave a message. It wasn't a phone that you could pick up. Did you ever have one of those? You're not old enough to have ever seen one of those, have you?
Yeah.
You have? Yeah. Holy shit. Okay, close your eyes. So my mother calls me, and I gave the staff the week off because I went to Europe for business, and she called 9 times, and my recording from the international thing wouldn't do the proper beep, which you have to give, so I couldn't get my messages. So she called every day without an answer. And when I got home, I played 12 messages from my mother from 5 days, calling multiple times a day, and what she said in every one of them is, I am so humiliated. I am so humiliated. My son is not the president of the United States. Why can't I get a call? This is humiliating. I thought to myself, what's humiliating about leaving a message? But when you use that word for anything that's uncomfortable, you feel humiliated all the time. She wasn't just humiliated by that. She was always using that word. She was always humiliated. So when you're in there, though, tell me this. Close your eyes. What do you see when you're in that state?
I wish I knew. I don't.
Okay, what do you say to yourself?
It's just like, it's horrible. It's just a horrible thing to do.
Say it the way you say it to yourself. The tone of voice you say it. Say exactly what you say to yourself in your head. But say it out loud, though, as if you were in your head.
Like, what's wrong with you? You can't stop doing this. Like, you know, you're a coach.
What's wrong with you? You can't do it. Is that the tempo you say it?
Yeah, pretty much.
Say it again, the way you say it to yourself. But like, say it like you're actively doing it right now. Go ahead.
Like, what's wrong with you? Why do you keep doing this? Like, you're a coach. You're coaching people. You're telling them, you know, they could do anything, and yet you can't do this.
And then what's your answer?
Like, this is just, it's been so long. It's impossible to stop. That's.
Yeah, but you know that's a lie because you've done it twice for a long period of time. Not, I talked about only twice a week. Huh. So it's not true that's impossible. Mm-hmm. It's not true that it's part of you. It's all a lie, but when we lie to ourselves over and over again, we believe our lies. Mm-hmm. But there's a positive intent. That's third step. Let's go to the third step. What I want you to do now is ask yourself, there's a part of me responsible for this behavior, the behavior you'd like to see changed. That's the next step for all of you. Where is the part of me in my body that's responsible for this purging process, this overeating and purging? And I want you to scan your body and just touch wherever that part of your body is. Good. And just keep touching right there. Yeah. Keep your hand right there. That's it. Great. And as you feel that part, breathe into it and say thank you. I know that sounds weird, but I mean sincerely thank you, because you know at some level all human behavior has a positive intent. So say thank you. I know you're trying to serve me in some way. I'm sorry I've been fighting you. And feel that part, feel truly grateful for that part of you. I know that seems weird, but it really is serving you. And what will help you be grateful now is now touch that part and say, please share with me now. I know you have a positive intent. What are you trying to give me by this experience of purging and overeating? What are you trying to give me? What are you trying to offer me? What's the positive intent that you're offering that's behind all of this?
Freedom.
Freedom.
I don't know from what, but that's what came to mind instantly.
No, but you please trust yourself. By the way, what did I tell you it was before we started? I just said a couple seconds ago because you already told us this. You just didn't notice. So first of all, go to that part, touch that part, and love that part of you and say, thank you for wanting to create freedom for me. That's the positive intent. Don't you deserve to be free? But ironically, what gave us freedom at one time, that was maybe necessary at one time, becomes outdated, but it's still in charge. It's like this part of you working so hard, but it needs to go on vacation or maybe even retire. But let it know that you appreciate how important freedom is to have. Are you letting it know that part now? What do you feel that part feeling? You can feel that part. When you sincerely thank it for your freedom, what does it feel?
It feels thankful.
Yes. Does it feel your gratitude? Ask it, does it feel how grateful you sincerely are? Because freedom is so important.
Protection, too.
Freedom and protection. Okay, well, it already did something I was going to ask. Thank you for the freedom. Then I was going to say, if I was feeling fully free now, ask it, if I was feeling totally, completely, and fully free now, what's even more important that you want me to have?
Protection.
That's right. So touch that part where the protection comes from. Yeah, there you go. And as you touch that part, thank it for protecting you. Breathe into that part. That's it. Breathe deep into that part. You've been holding that part down so hard that the only time you let it be free is when you eat enough to push it out. So let it just relax and be. Can it feel that there you go. Can you feel that it's grateful? your gratitude for it, make sure it can feel you're grateful for it looking out for you and wanting you to have freedom and protection. It's beautiful. Does it feel your love and appreciation, that part of you now? Good, really feel it. How important is freedom and protection? By the way, how old are you right now in this moment where you're needing this protection?
8.
That's right. And by the way, this probably was really helpful at 8 years old for protection, wasn't it? A way to deal with things you didn't know how to deal with. So thank that part of you, touch that part of you that's been protecting you, love on that part and say, thank you for protecting me. I'm so grateful. And then say, now that I'm experiencing freedom and protection, what do you want me to experience even more than freedom and protection? Now that I'm fully and completely experiencing freedom and protection, what do you want me to experience even more than freedom and protection?
Love.
Love. Oh my gosh. Where does that come from? Feel where the love is coming from. There you go. Now pour all your love into that part of you and thank that part for wanting to experience such a deep and beautiful gift from God, love. And love on that part that's been wanting love for you. That's it. That's it. Can it feel your love for it? For that part of you? That's nice. That's gorgeous. And those tears are beautiful tears because they're grace tears. They're release tears. They're tears that love can sometimes trigger. That's it. And notice how you're breathing so differently now that you have freedom and protection and love. And you're not eating to do it. And you're not throwing up to do it, are you? You're just actually feeling yourself, which is what you've been trying to do, to eat, feed, protect, have freedom. It's just like an 8-year-old saying, I want shit in my way. And I want to protect it, and I want to be loved still. Even if I do things that aren't so nice. And boy, hasn't your husband proven that he loves you no matter what? And you can do the things you judge yourself for, and he doesn't judge you for them. He loves you still. Wow, great choice. Thank the part of you that picked him, and thank God or the universe, whatever you believe, brought you together.
I do every day.
But now you don't need the same behavior to prove he loves you because he's already proven it. Now, I know girls like to test constantly, but you can find other ways to test that are just fun. You feel all that love pouring in now? There you go. Now say to that part of you, thank you for wanting this love for me. And ask it, now that I'm feeling love totally and completely, now that I'm feeling love totally and completely, what do you want me to experience even more than love? Now I'm feeling love totally and completely. What would you want me to experience even more than love? Is there even a higher intent than love?
Or giving.
What's that?
Giving. I love to give.
That's right. Well, look at that giant smile that came on your face as soon as you got to that. Where's the part of you that loves to give? There you go. That's it. Feel that part of you. Feel how all these different parts of you have been working together, trying to give you what you deserve and what you need. How great does it feel to give? This is the first time you've just smiled from ear to ear like that. It shows your true nature. It wants you to experience your true nature. That was the intent of all this. So feel that ability to just give. Without limits, without fears it'll be taken or you'll be hurt, because you already have love and protection and freedom. So you can experience giving freely. There you go. How does that feel? Yes. So thank that part, love on that part that's allowed you to be in a state of giving. And ask it, now that I'm experiencing giving totally and completely, now that I'm experiencing giving totally and completely, what would you want to experience even more than giving? What's the even higher intent for you than me being able to give?
Worry-free, just joy, worry-free.
Worry-free joy. Does joy presuppose worry-free?
Joy is the best.
Because when you're joyful, there is no worry, is there?
Yeah.
If it starts to happen, because that's the mind, joy takes over and goes, no, we're here to have a good time. I'm joyfully giving, loving, and I'm totally protected and free. Wow. Where's the part of you that's joy, pure joy? There it is. That's it. Keep it, touch that part of yourself gently. Yeah, that's it. Beautiful. Yeah, notice the joy is not in your stomach. Did you notice that?
Yeah.
Protection was down in your stomach. Joy is in your face and your eyes and your smile. And notice how many senses are in the area you're touching. Taste, touch, smell, hearing, seeing. That's why it's joy. Because you're using all the parts of yourself and not shutting any parts down. Feel that. All this has been trying to get you to get to your joy. Thank that part that has been so dedicated to having you get to joy that it'd do anything, even get you to throw up to try to get there. See, without your base needs met, it was hard to get up higher. But when the base needs are met, notice you're constantly going higher, aren't you? You've even gone higher in your body. Some elements we could notice it's like chakras. You're now all the way up your chakras to the upper area, not the lower areas, base needs. You're at the higher levels now. You can feel it, can't you? Yeah, that smile tells us all, doesn't it? That's gorgeous. That's the real you. That's you just being yourself. That's the real Krista. There's no need to hide her. And how much does she need to eat, stuff herself, and throw up? How much does she need that? Zero to 10, how much does she need that? This joyful one.
Zero.
Zero. That's nice. So it's just been you wanting to find your way back to your highest self. Now thank the part of you right there all around your beautiful face. And it is beautiful no matter what you've ever said. And when you're joyful, you know that. Because you don't think about your face, you're just experiencing joy. And your joy sends that love, that joy, that happiness to others without you even trying. It's not projecting, it's being. And so thank that part of you that has filled you with joy. And ask it, if I'm experiencing joy as I am now, totally and completely, is there anything else that you'd like me to experience even more than joy? Is there an even higher intent than even joy?
I don't think so. Laughter.
Oh, laughter. Very nice. Thank the part that's given you all that joy, and then find the part that creates laughter. Where is that part of you? There you go. That's it. Feel it. And it's an energy, isn't it?
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Everyone tells me I always have good energy. I'm an energy giver.
That's right.
Just need to give more to myself.
But when you're filled with joy, there's a higher level. With laughter, you're not even, it's beyond even joy. It's absolutely spontaneous. It's energetic. So thank that part of you that gives you laughter. And think of all the times you've laughed at shit that used to make you feel sad or upset, or you wanted to look or be a certain way. Did you ever try to look or be a certain way and look in the mirror and it was just disastrous and you started to laugh instead of judge? If you haven't, it might be a new experience worth experiencing. There you go. It's like, it feels nice to not give a shit so much about the external, because laughter and joy and giving and love are so much more powerful than just protection or freedom. But we deserve those too. So thank that part that gives you laughter and ask it, is there anything you want me to experience even more than laughter? Is there anything you want me to experience even more laughter? Is there even a higher intent than even that?
I don't know what it can be, but being happy and I am happy though, but yeah.
Yeah, it's actually higher than happy, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Does it want you to experience anything more, or is laughter the peak of that experience?
Yeah, I think laughter.
All
I
right,
do a lot of it.
That's awesome. What if you started to eat and then you started to laugh and put the fork down? What if you said, I'm going to do this one last time just for fun? You stuffed your face and threw up like crazy and then sat up beside the toilet and laughed your ass off and said, there you go.
You are awesome.
I'm done with that. Well, we can come back once a week if you want to do this again. Or we can get pregnant and we won't do it at all. So we've proven we can do that. Or we could just laugh about the whole thing. That's right. See yourself eating the food and just laughing your ass off. See your tummy coming out and laughing at it. See yourself gain 12 pounds and just laughing and going, this ain't never. No, you can do it. There, you can do it. See yourself gain 12 pounds. Yeah, you can do it. Just find some laughter at 12 pounds. That doesn't mean you have to do it.
I'm a 2.
No, 12.
Oh, God.
There you go.
Oh, God.
Take it out of 12.
You're killing me.
No, I'm actually not doing anything to except letting you live the way you deserve to live.
Thank you.
You clearly deserve to have this laughter and this joy. Because from that place, you give so much. Your love just comes naturally. Protection doesn't even need to be seeked out because you're beyond it. And freedom is just a way of being. Yeah, there you go. So thank the part that allows you to laugh at stuff you used to feel crazy about. What if you could look in the mirror and there was 12 pounds and it was all in your stomach and you started to laugh and you knew it wasn't a lowering of standards, it was just creating laughter and joy so you can give more love to yourself and others. And that now protection is not something to hang on to, because when you're filled with laughter and joy, there's no need for protection. So let's start at the top now. Now that we're filled with laughter, I want you to take that laughter. If laughter is the base state of your life, how cool is that? And bring that down into your joy and tell me what that does to your life. When you bring laughter into your joy, you already have the laughter and you bring it into the joy. What does that do to your life?
Brighter.
What's that?
It's brighter.
There you go. Feel that. And then take the laughter and the joy, and now that you're fully experiencing both of those, it's a way of being. It's who you are. It is, isn't it?
Yeah.
So you take your laughter and your joy and you take it into giving. And what happens to giving?
Oh, you make other people smile.
Yes. And how much more enjoyable is giving when it's filled with laughter and joy? Take that laughter and joy from the very top of you, bring it down into the giving, and then bring the giving into love, and tell me what it does to the love. When you take all the laughter, the joy, and the giving, and you pour it into love, what happens to love?
It's bigger and happier and brighter.
Yes. Some people love is a sad place. They're used to sadness and love. But feel it, not you. That's not your essence. We found your essence in this process. When you find your essence, it'll never go away. You can pretend it's not there, but it's always there because you've now experienced your essence. You've been experiencing ways to try to get to your essence, and you got stuck at the first stage. So feel all that laughter, all that joy, all that giving poured into love, And then take all that love and pour it into protection, and tell me what happens to protection. When you take all the laughter and the joy and the giving and the love and you pour it into protection, when laughter and joy and giving and love are your essence.
Safety.
Yeah. How safe?
I'm great.
Yeah.
Nothing's gonna happen to me.
Yeah. It's more than great, isn't it? What is it really? What happens to protection when you're filled with love, laughter and joy and giving and love, and they bring all those essences to protection? What really happens to protection?
It goes away. Freedom.
There you go. And you already went there without me telling you. Now you see how you've wired yourself. It was all there. And bring the laughter, the joy, the giving, the love, and the protection and safety into freedom. And what happens to freedom with all of that as your essence?
Overpowers everything.
Yeah. How incredible is that? What power does food have to you in this place?
Nothing.
That's right. What power does the bulimia have to you in this place?
Nothing. I'm better.
That's right. Because when you were having your children, you went to your essence, my dear. It's so beautiful. Your essence is so beautiful. It's moving to me and everybody in this room. Because it's so joyful. It's got so much laughter. It's got so much giving. It's got so much love. That safety is no longer an issue because it's greater than that. And freedom is always there. So first of all, those of you who are wondering what the steps are, because that was long, because I covered some things on identity up front. And I hope you maybe took some of that in or perhaps jot some notes down, because what locks us in place, besides the intent, is identity. And most of us determine who we are by what we do. But as I mentioned earlier, oftentimes smart people do dumb things, right? But if we do a bunch of dumb things and you start to think you're dumb, I'm giving you an oversimplified example. But we're not our behavior. Behavior is variable, meaning everybody has different types of behaviors. But we lock in on something, and once we say that's who we are, it controls all our decision making. So I did spend some time before this process with her, getting her clear on the difference in identity that she really had. And notice, whenever we say something can't be done, it's just not true. I hope you captured that little phrase I wrote, that change is never a matter of ability. Change is always a matter of purpose or reasons or motivation, whatever word you want to use. Reasons come first, answers come second. So when she was pregnant, the only time in her life it would stop. So there's zero question she could do it. But I use that as evidence for her that as a mother, she had a different identity. So her entire nervous system made different choices. Pretty fascinating, isn't it? This is how beautiful we are as humans. And Krista, I just want to thank you. I just saw you out there in the audience there. Just there she is. Give her another big hand. Pretty extraordinary lady here. She really was vulnerable. If you got a lot from her, let her hear you, ladies and gentlemen. It's so beautiful. Krista, I'm going to send you this video so you have it just as a reminder. I know you don't need it because you're not doing it anymore, but I think you'll enjoy it. And then also, we're going to invite you to the RPM training because I know you've done so many of our other programs, but I really know with all the coaching you do with people, that'll be priceless for you. So just want to send you, acknowledge, and thank you again for your vulnerability, your example. How many people got a lot out of this because of Krista's vulnerability, ladies and gentlemen? Let her hear you out there. We really thank you, Krista. Blessings to you, honey. And also want to thank earlier Anthony as well. Let's give Anthony another big hand also for his vulnerability and openness. And Anthony, I'm going to send you to Date with Destiny for sharing your experience, and so you can stack it on top of that. So stay on the line here. We're going to make sure that he has that for you in December as well. So I know we've gone beyond the time, but we jammed a lot in. Who got a ton out of this event today, this experience? Make some noise if you did. And so just, I'll be looking forward to seeing you guys again in November. But again, by the way, this session, many people are asking questions. Let me put up the question steps. So you can just take a quick picture if you want of the steps we went through. I give you a simplified version. It still looks like a lot, but it's 6 steps. But if you take a photograph of it, just grab your camera, probably the easiest way to do it. And then you'll have those 6 steps. But we'll post this in the arena. We'll post this entire session there. So if you want to review it, see it again, dig into it, take yourself through it, you'll have the ability. How many of you, just out of curiosity, how many of you, by a show of hands out there, a little noise, were able to do this just watching someone else, found some positive intent within yourself? Make some noise to be able to do it. Good. I wanted to give you an example like Krista, because the example I just did with somebody live, you might go, well, does it last? But Krista's just one of millions of examples. When you do it, it's a lasting effect because you've met the highest intent. And notice there's a lower intent, a medium, a high, and there's the highest. When you get to the highest intent and you integrate, it changes your whole life. I've done this to myself multiple times, the things over my life that are there. So I hope you'll add this to your toolbox. This is why we do inner circles, so you have the time to do it. It's not going to disappear. This isn't done. You get to go back and review it as many times as you want. And I'm a big believer, most of you know that repetition is the mother of mastery, the mother of skill. If you're going to master something, you need repetition. One time you understand it. You do it enough times, it gets in your body. So that's what these audio programs are for, video programs are for, and I hope you fully tap into them and get full use of them. There were some people asking questions about Mastermind. Mastermind is another company I have. It's for people to grow their businesses. And she just happened to be one of the people helping to support that process. So it has nothing to do with Inner Circle. It's a completely different business I do with my friend Dean, but it's really helping people grow their businesses individually. And then lastly, between now and the time I see you, a lot's going to happen. So I really encourage you to come to a live event. If there's an area you want to tackle in your life, one of the most powerful, as I've already said, is time. I only do this program once in a year. So if you're interested, join us for RPM coming up here in July. I'm sure they'll put the dates up there somewhere. And then secondly, we have, if you're coming to Business Mastery, we're doing that in August. And then I'm coming to Germany for a live UPW, Unleash the Power Within, for about 14,000 people, if you're over in Europe. And then in October, I'm coming to LA, Orange County area, to Anaheim, California, and I'll do the first event I've done there in 5 years since COVID. So we'll have about 15,000 people there for that event as well. And all these events you can go to in person or digitally, but I hope you'll take advantage of the chance to go for immersion, because as valuable as these tools are, and I'm trying to make them available to everybody, and you can see we're not holding back, there's nothing like 10, 12 hours a day, which sounds absurd, but we're in it with no distractions and you're totally engaged and you're on fire with the energy and excitement we produce. 3 or 4 or 5 days, it integrates in you. So if you can, take advantage of one of the events you think would make a difference for you. And I really look forward to serving you. I hope you found today to be really valuable. If you apply today yourself, I promise you some really beautiful and lasting changes, but even more importantly, a connection to your higher self, the higher purpose you're made for. That's what it's all about. So sending love to all of you. I hope to see you sometime soon. Watch for our announcement about our TV station coming up, and I'll look forward to seeing you all. God bless you all.